Welcome to America's Heroes Group.
And today we're here with America's Heroes Group Roundtable Community Outreach. And today is Saturday, July 24th, 2021, in case you haven't looked at your calendar. And our host and governor of Talk Radio is Cliff Kelly. I am his co-host, Colonel Dr. Damon Arnold. Our executive producer is Glenda Smith. And our digital media producer is Ivan Ortega with Scouts Honor Production. And Glenda is not here today. She is attending the funeral of her incredible uncle, who is a wonderful man who did many, many great things and was really a great, close mentor to Glenda. So we extend our condolences to her entire family and to Glenda. Today we have a panelist, Jane Gubser. She is a psychology doctor, and she is an executive director of Cook County Department of Corrections. She actually had attended St. Ignatius College Prep and then went to a Jesuit education at Spring Hill College in Mobile, Alabama. After that, she then became a career as an executive assistant to Sheriff Thomas Dart, who we love on this program. He does a great amount of great work in the community, as Cliff will always talk about. And she left the Cook County Sheriff's Office in 2011 to pursue her degree in clinical psychology. And she also worked with the Cook County Mental Health Specialty Court. She has been doing incredible things, providing a Safe Haven Foundation, working with that thing as a psychotherapist, and making sure our veterans have the kind of care they need out in the world. So welcome, welcome, welcome. I am so impressed by your history and what you've done, Jane. And today we're going to be discussing the Cook County Sheriff's Office Department of Correction, July's Incarcerated Veterans Job Fair. How are you doing, Jane?
I'm good. Thank you so much for having me.
Yes. Yeah, so tell us, what is this all about? What is this job fair, and why is it so important to you?
So Sheriff Dart has been, as you know, a leader in all mental health initiatives, but also as it relates to programming at the jail. And one of the fundamental ways that we incorporate the community into the jail programming is we typically invite people from the community to come in. Number one, we just recognize that that's the best way for us to start engaging people in person-centered care, and we're truly putting a face behind the resource. So earlier this month, a couple of the community members that we've been working with came into the jail, and they set up a resource fair similar to which someone in the community might attend, right? So if you're going to a college fair or a job fair out in the community, and everybody who came in had an offer for a resource specific to working with veterans. And they really were able to sit with each individual, show them what type of resources they had to offer, and just start that relationships to plant the seeds for potentially supporting them once they go out into the community.
Yeah, because, Jane, you return to the Cook County Department of Corrections, right, as the chief of programs, and you were overseeing the educational, religious, mental health, and wellness programming. And then, in March of 2020, you worked with the CERMAC Health Services on a collaborative plan to navigate the COVID-19 pandemic, which all of us are consumed by right now. And in May of 2021, you became the XO, or the executive director of the Cook County Department of Corrections. So, that's a tremendous, achievement. First of all, so I have to congratulate you.
Thank you.
But
Thank you.
Also, it has implications that you are bringing your knowledge from the different offices you've been within, and your training as a doctor of psychology into this whole mix of, well, how do we really work with people who are in, the Department of Corrections?
Yeah, and I think, specifically for those individuals who've served our country, they've had one of the most complicated journeys there are. So you have the complex, complicated system of navigating, whether it's working in the military, the Air Force, coming back to America and reintegrating into the community. you have that challenge in and of itself, and then you have a parallel challenge for the men and women that we were working with on this event, which is trying to navigate the criminal justice system. So unfortunately, the challenges that the veterans who we work with at the jail face, they're very serious and it's difficult. And Sheriff Dart has always recognized that it's more complicated for these individuals, and that, we really need to recognize the position that we're at the Cook County Jail. And I think if the sheriff was on right now, I'd never want to speak for him, but we do what we do at the Cook County Jail because it's the right thing to do, and it's the responsible thing to do. And I think that Sheriff Dart always uses his position of power to try to implement positive things, and really just recognizing that these are the types of things that we need to do to hopefully minimize any type of recidivism or relapse or any reoffending behaviors that these individuals might get into once they leave the Cook County Jail, because it's very difficult. And I remember when I started working with the veterans, very naively, I assumed that there were two different paths people fell down, whether it was you were an honorable discharge or not honorably discharged. And then as I started working with people, I realized that it's much more complicated than that. There's so many buckets that people can fall into, and that's why it's great for us. So we had people from Jesse Brown come in, and we have people who work with veterans to figure out exactly what type of resources they're eligible for. And everybody who's in our custody, especially the veterans, they all might qualify for different things based off of their personal experience. And so we need to make sure that everyone understands what they're eligible for, they're enrolled in whatever types of benefits those are, and they're linked with providers in the community who are not going to judge them because they've been involved in the criminal justice system. And they know that they're there to serve them. And so that's really what we did, is we acted as a place to facilitate that type of engagement in a way that hopefully people's guards were down and they were able to have true conversations and put good plans together.
Oh, fantastic. It sounds like it's really helping those veterans, to contend with some of the things that they have, because they have physical scars, of course, but also emotional scars that sometimes are hard to see. So when you see a person, especially our homeless veterans, which should never, ever, ever happen, that they're on the street living, in sleeping bags and tents under viaducts, that should never happen to anyone who served this country. But that's why I have to applaud you for what you do, because you're helping people from across the spectrum of veterans. Those who do have places that they live within, homes, and then people who are not or homeless. So what are some of the challenges you face, in providing these services? Because the reintegration process has to be difficult for people, and I'm not sure of how you tie into resources or how how your program functions. What can I expect in being in the program?
So one of the things we do as an office is, we're the ones who reach out to individuals, right? So we ask people, as soon as they get to Cook County Jail, even before they go to bond court, we start asking people, have you ever served our country? And we started doing that because we also learned that when we started asking people if they were veterans, many people said that they weren't. I think that there was a lot of shame involved with thinking that, that maybe their course out of the military was not one that should be honored, which is not the case. And people believing or having this assumption that they no longer qualified or were eligible for certain things. So the first thing we started doing is we started asking people about their involvement in a different way to try to get them more likely to say, yes, I've served. And then once that happens, we have an officer on our staff. His name is Officer John Coddington. He has also served in the Air Force, I believe. And he specifically works with the program. And he goes all around the jail, no matter where someone's at. And if they've said yes, that they've served, he meets with them to see what they have and what their story is. And then he works with them to get their DD-214s. And that's really a good step in the right direction, because once that person leaves our custody, just having that document, which we help them apply for, we get it, they send it to the jail, and we physically make sure that they have a copy, and we keep one in our records if they ever come back in. So that's our first step. Then we ask people, do you want to get involved in work with other veterans? And some people say yes, and some people say no. And once they say yes, they start sleeping amongst a cohort of their peers. The walls are lined with the different flags of all the different pillars of the service industry. And then we have, American Red Cross comes in. We work with our partners at West Care. We've been partners with them for a while, and they come in and they do substance abuse work. And then the resource fair was so great, especially because we're really starting to reintegrate programs after COVID. And so we had basically this one event where everyone was able to come back. And so we looked at jobs, benefits, housing, all of it. And so it was like a one-stop shop.
Oh, fantastic. That sounds really exciting. I'm getting excited just listening to what you're saying. This is fantastic for our veterans. So, how can people find out more about your program? Because I'll come back to that again, during the show. But is there a phone number people can call, or a website they can go to, or something where they can connect with the services that you're offering?
So this is one of the reasons why I really appreciate you having me on the show today and allowing our office to talk about the stuff we do, because we're always adding new things, and I don't know if we're ever keeping our websites as up to date as they should be. But anyone in the community who's looking for assistance with programs or support for people who are incarcerated, we have a Sheriff's Office care line, and the phone number is 773-674-CARE, C-A-R-E, and there's every day you can call that line, and you can ask questions, and we'll make sure that we either direct people in the right way. The other thing you can do is you can send me an email with my first name, Jane, last name Gubser, G-U-B as in boy, S as in Sam, E-R, at ccsheriff.org. And then, you're just going to reach out right to me, and I'll make sure to get you whatever you need or point you in the right direction. And I'm always excited to talk about the veterans programs we have. It's a program that I'm most proud of. Oh,
fantastic. So, tell us a little bit about, some of the things, because, I was mentioning in an earlier program that, I used to be the director for the Illinois Department of Public Health, and one of the legislators asked me the second week I was there, so why did you take this job, to help the public when, to help people when you could have had a more lucrative job outside, more money, a lucrative job. And I said, well, it was just 3 words. And he said, what are you talking about? And I said, they're above your chamber, we the people. So we're here to service the people. And so as a person like Service Dart, like yourself, is that, Jane, that is really servicing the people, we the people, it matters. And so, tell me something about what motivates you to want to do this, and maybe it's a success story, and then we'll talk a little about the challenges that you're thinking about after that.
So, I think you and I are kind of people maybe cut from a similar cloth. I definitely was someone who was always very, very passionate in social justice works, and that's why I'm so grateful and privileged to be working for Sheriff Dart. He's definitely someone, like I said, who uses his position of power to try to implement positive change. But like I said, it's the right thing to do. I think recognizing and conceptualizing the criminal justice system and just like the years of complicated systems and traumas and substance abuse and mental illness that people have been involved with, and recognizing that a lot of those people fall into the criminal justice system. That's how I found myself in this place. And as it relates to, wins or positive stories, I'm really, really proud of the work that we did over the past year during the virus. I am so proud of the men and the women who work for our office, who did everything they can to keep the Department of Corrections a very safe place to be. But nothing really can measure how great it feels when you see someone over the course of time who basically has been able to demonstrate hopefulness. And that might sound cheesy, but you can look at in someone's eyes, and you can see the way that they walk around the jail. And for some of the people who have been involved in our programs, they've said to me, I get it. I didn't know why I was doing X. I didn't know why I was doing Y. I always knew something was wrong with me, but I never truly understood why I was doing these things. And the programs that we offer at the county jail really try to meet people where they're at. And when people are ready to engage in treatment, we try to do everything we can to make it a plan that works for them. And the other thing I think I would say is, I spend a lot of time taking calls from either family members or loved ones of people who are incarcerated. And typically the first call is one of maybe frustration or fear or anxiety about their loved one who's in our custody. And after typically the end of the call or after a follow-up call when we can reassure that we've done X, Y, and Z, or we get the person in touch with their loved one and really walk them through the process, 9 times out of 10, people are just so grateful. And I tell every mother who I speak with, I say, I don't know what it would be like to have my kid here, but I understand that this is a frustrating and scary process, and we're here to serve you, and we're here to help. So that's really what we do, and when you can hear that the work we're doing has had a positive impact, it really makes it all worth it.
Oh, fantastic, fantastic. What are some of the challenges you see, down the road, or, things that you feel, maybe we as veterans could be helping to support, and to put things into a better place for the efforts that you're doing right now?
I think the most important thing is for everyone really to just work together. It's just so challenging. There's 2 different ways that you can look at things. You can look at all of the types of risk factors that people have. And many of the times, by the time someone's at Cook County Jail, there's not much that we can do to minimize those risk factors. But what we can do is increase any sources of support and help to build resiliency. So when people are coming to help with really those core issues, right? So you have to think, when someone's getting released from jail, if their housing is in trouble, or if they're not going to be able to pay their bills, or if they've lost their car, their apartment while they've been incarcerated, it's really unrealistic for us as a society to assume that that person's going to leave and be successful or be able to access medical or mental health services. And that's why we try to take care of all that stuff when people are here in the county. But the more and more people realize that there are services out there that meet their needs, that there's going to be no judgment for those people accessing them, and truly an understanding that people need help. People need them to walk with them through the process. And so typically when people ask me about what I think is missing, I think we truly need more peer navigators or people with lived experiences who will walk people through the process, almost similar to an AA model where you might have a sponsor. People need that. People need someone to every day walk through that process with them and let them know, number one, it's okay, you can do it. I'm here for you. Today wasn't a good day. Maybe things didn't go the way you thought, but tomorrow you got to wake up and you got to do it all over again, right? Put that suit back on, get back in there, and try again. And that's hard. So I think more and more people trying to be a support and walk people through the process is something that might go a long way.
Great. Well, we just ran out of time, but we're going to have you back again. I love the work you're doing, Jane.
Thank you.
And again, call 773-674-CARE, and that's 674-2273. But 773-674-CARE, C-A-R-E. And then you can also go to put Jane, J-A-N-E, Gubser, Gubser, at ccsheriff.org. So that's Cook County Sheriff, so ccsheriff.org. So thank you for what you're doing for our veterans, and God bless you for what you do and for your service to our nation. And
thank you to you and your team and everything you do as well. It's been a pleasure.
Thank you. Okay, we're moving on to a commercial break, but stay with us.